Your reaction at the attack from the Arabs on Yom Kippur, and where was you?
I wasn't. You see, I have a little synagogue. Oh, I'm sorry. I have a synagogue in New York where I have to be there on the high holidays. So it was in the middle of the morning prayers that someone called me out, and a girl was standing on the street corner. She was crying, and I asked her what happened. She says, the way you just announced there's a war in Israel. But you know, there's so much shooting going on, so people thought, must have a little bit shooting going on. So we didn't believe it yet. But only late in the afternoon, people came and said it's really a bad scene. You see, one thing was very clear to me, that you know, even if they would start a war any day in the year, I know that they cannot, God forbid, drive us out from the Holy Land, but especially when they start on Yom Kippur. You see, on Yom Kippur is one day when we Jews stand clear before God. Really clear, our souls are shining, and just, we're really one with God. And if they choose to start on such a day when we are really standing before God, you see, there's always a scale going on in the world, right? And I tell you the truth, you know, if I am God, right? I look at the Jews and I look at the Egyptians. The question is, I mean, you know, it's not only the Egyptians. It's for 2,000 years, the world thinks the Jews are there to be slaughtered. And I mean, you and I know the truth. It's not a question of the Palestinians. It's not a question of. It's simply a question of. The question is killing Jews or not. And that's all there is to it. And the time has come that we Jews are not there to be killed. And it's heartbreaking, you know, that in a so-called civilized world, the world is still so barbaric, you know, absolutely barbaric. You see, if you were to ask me, who is right in this war, you know, I'll tell you very simply, objectively speaking, you know, imagine I'm falling down from Mars, coming down. I would interview both sides, right? And I will ask the Egyptians, what do you want to do? All the Arabs, they'll say, we want to kill the Jews. I'll ask the Jews, what do you want to do? Every soldier will say, I want peace. And I'll tell you something very strong, you know. Last week, I was in San Francisco, and I played at a big rally for Israel. There were thousands of Jewish students, non-Jewish students, Japanese students, all kinds, those who have a little bit soul. And on the other side, the Arabs, you know, whenever the Jews made a little rally, they have to come there also. So we had just a flag, an Israeli flag, and we were just, and I was singing and talking to the people, and I say, really, all we want is peace in the world, you know, not only peace for us, we want peace for the whole world. And the Arabs had a big flag, and it says, death to the Jews, death to Zionism, death to Israel. They had a long list whom they want to kill. And, you know, it was just, I really felt so deep the difference that we don't want to kill anybody. Yes. The holiness of us Jews is that we never hate, despite all the persecution. And the strong thing is today, which I feel as a rabbi or as a spiritual brother, what we have to do to tell the soldiers, despite that maybe there's an evil voice telling us, you know, really hate the world, let's really knock them off, you know. Really to just remember you're a child of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and our mission in the world is really to love the world. And it's unbelievable, you know, you look around those soldiers, you know, there's not one ounce of hatred in their hearts.
And why they don't hate? Is it because they believe in God or humanity?
Because, you see, the thing is, believe it or not, we really are the chosen people. But let me explain to you something, you know, the difference, let's say the Germans also thought they're chosen, you know. So the word chosen people needs a little bit of clarification. And I explained it this way. Imagine if a girl is chosen to be Miss America. She wants to be the only one who's chosen, right? Because if everybody will be chosen Miss America, it's the end of her first story. But we Jews are chosen in such a way that we want so desperately the whole world to be chosen also.
Well, trust on the weapons? Or is there also in the army a trust in the leadership by the God of Israel? And do you see some things from his power?
I'll tell you, if you'll ask, you see, it's very strong, you know. Israel, thank God, is really strong, the best soldiers in the world, take it or leave it, because they're ready to give their lives 1,000 times. And, you know, I really believe that the good side is always stronger than the evil, because there's only so much evil you can do, but good is infinite. There has to be a stop to good. So the truth is, it's really, for the first time maybe in history, it's a tremendous partnership, you know. We really trust completely in God. We really completely trust the soldiers. And the soldier completely trusts in God, and God completely trusts the soldiers. It's really together. But I'm sure that every soldier, when he has a gun in his hand, he really is praying to God, really praying all the time.
Can you tell what he is praying, for example?
He's praying to God that there should be no more war, you know, that the words of the prophets should come true, that the world will stop fighting.
Do you also pray for the Arabs?
It's a crazy thing, you know, that we really do. Because it's a very crazy thing, you know, that there's a very special passage in the Psalms, and I'm sure it's translated differently in King James because he didn't speak Hebrew so well, and it's kind of heartbreaking that the non-Jewish world really never tasted the depth of the Bible. But it says, Keil Nekomas Hashem, God is the God of revenge. Keil Nekomas Afir, God of revenge, manifest yourself. This is the ordinary translation, which really gives you a very bad picture of God. You know, he's really revenging, walks around with a little sword, knocking off all his enemies. The real meaning of it is like this, that imagine if someone hates me very much, and I begin doing him a lot of good. And the more good I do him, he really is ashamed that he ever hated me. So on one hand, I'm really revenging myself, but on a holy way, you know, because he really is ashamed that he did it, you know. But we are praying for that the Arabs should really be ashamed to hate us. That they really should be ashamed to walk around and killing God's people. Because they can live peacefully, we're not taking anything away from them. You know, it's really the biggest joke in the world. You and I know the truth. The Arabs have so much territory. And imagine we give them back Israel. What's they do with it? It'll just hang around like nothing. You know, they had it all those years, didn't do anything with it. Shalom, friends, and shalom, Christian brothers and sisters. Let's again believe in the one God who created heaven and earth, and he created the world not to kill each other, but to help each other live. Shalom.
Hallelujah, thank you. Can you sing something for us and explain what you are singing?
Okay, friends, this is, brothers and sisters, this is a song. Actually, this is actually the Jewish answer to the world. The first thing we say, Od Avinu Chai, God is living, God is living, God is living. And then we tell the world, as long as God is living, as long as God is living, Am Yisrael Chai, Israel is living. Because you and I know the truth, as long as there's one God in the world. Israel is eternal, there'll always be Jews in the world because God has chosen us to carry his torch, his light to the world. Od Avinu Chai.